So February was quite a month for me, and you may have noticed I was a little absent from BookTube, but let me tell you why. Hi, my name is Kim, and welcome back to my channel. If I am new to you, I am an avid reader, and I follow the Booker Prize as well as the International Booker, the Women's Prize, and Panda Reads. So let's get talking as to why February was such a challenge. So at the end of January, I finished a 17-month full-time contract, and I decided to take 2 weeks off before I returned to part-time work. And I was super excited about this. I had lofty plans for February. I really wanted February to be Fitsuary because I love Fitzcarraldo editions, and I have a huge shelf of to-be-read books by them. And they are so astounding. I was really looking forward to a whole month of fantastic reads. However, my husband and I started renovating the house in January, and I think because I was largely away from it because I was at work, and when I came home, my husband, being the incredible person he is, had spent hours cleaning the house, so I forgot what it was like to renovate. And I understand that this is a completely privileged problem to have, and it is a joy to see the results. But if anybody has ever lived through a renovation, particularly one in which a lot of drywall was done, we took out walls, we took out ceilings, we redid trims and floors and tiles, and we're almost at the end of it, and there are beautiful results such as this mantle, and I'm absolutely loving it. But when I was home in February and there were people constantly in my house and my husband went back to work, it was a real struggle to get in reading time. So February was not what I thought it was going to be, but I'm actually surprised with how much I did read. So what did I read in February? So my first read was A Spell of Good Things by Ayobami Adebayo. And this was one of the books that was longlisted for Booker 2023 that I couldn't get to. It's absolutely beautiful cover. I read this for my book club at the end of January, my physical book club, that is. And I'll keep these reviews spoiler free and fairly short, but I struggled a little bit with this book because the two main characters are at such different positions in their lives and society. I just never could figure out how they were going to intersect. But once I got more than halfway through and realized that this book was so well done and so poignant and very emotional and stressful in terms of plot, that it didn't matter anymore if those two met up. But wow, this is a lot about pride and betrayal. And I had heard in other reviews that the ending is absolutely heartbreaking and it will take a chunk of your soul with it. And that's true. So amazing book. I cannot wait to read more by her. She only has one other book out, which was her debut. After that, I decided to get to Panda Reads, and I purchased a copy of The Future by Kathleen Leroux, and it is translated from the French by Susan Oru, and I loved this book. It is a dystopian novel with a little bit of magic realism. It's set in Fort des Trois, and it is a reimagined society of Canadians in that derelict Detroit setting, in which the main character comes back to the derelict home of her murdered child, and she's looking for her missing grandchildren. This did very well on Panda Reads. I will link day 4 of the debates, which you should totally check out. It's so much fun. Fashion is amazing, and this was a good read. I was very happy with that. And the next was The House of Doors by Tan Twang Ing. And take a look at these end covers. They are absolutely stunning. Now, this was the second last book from the long list from last year of the Booker that I had to read. I have read him before. I've read The Garden of Evening Mist and absolutely loved it. This is a colonialist novel, and the main characters, a husband and a wife, are hosting Willie Somerset Maugham, and it is such a cringy novel, and it's told from the point of view of the post-colonialists, and it doesn't hesitate to highlight that in significant ways. Everybody in this book is despicable. They do despicable things. You want to hate them all, but in a weird way, I really wanted Leslie, the main character of this book, to be my friend. But I won't give away the ending. It is such a good read. I mean, considering February emotionally was very tough for me in my personal life, I had some amazing, amazing reads. So the only book I have left to read from the Booker longlist from last year is All the Little Bird Hearts by Victoria Lloyd Barlow. So after that, I decided it's February, it's Fitzuary. I'm going to get to my Fitzcarraldo editions and achieve my reading goals, some of my reading goals for 2024. So I picked up Mild Vertigo by Miko Kane, and it's translated by Polly Barton. This was absolutely wonderful. It is a horror story, sort of on the same level of The Vegetarian by Han Kang, in that you get the opinion of so many other people about the main character of the book in such a microscopic lens. So it is the tale of a Japanese housewife who is bringing up children, and she has a husband, and her struggles with day-to-day life. The way that she writes about ordinary domestic moments reminds me a lot of Elizabeth Strout as well. And in the blurb on the back, her writing is compared to Elena Ferrante and Lucy Ellmann, and I would completely agree. The thing that troubled me is all the way through this book, and it's told in a series of 5, 6, 7, it's told in 8 sort of different chapters, but I really felt like they were stories. And I couldn't figure out what it was reminding me of. And I got to the last chapter, and in my mind I keep thinking last story, and right from the get-go I knew I had read this before, and it drove me absolutely crazy. I searched the internet, I checked all of my advent calendars from Hingston and Olsen thinking that I had read it there, and it wasn't until I reached the end of this that I realized I have already read this, and I read it last year. I just didn't record it on StoryGraph. I didn't put it in my passion planner, but I read this. And so my first book for Fitzuary was a reread without me even realizing it. And I think that's when I knew that all of the chaoticness of the renovations were getting to me. Anyways, highly recommend that. It's absolutely fabulous. I hope it makes the Booker, International Booker longlist announced on Monday, and I will have a reaction video for you. The next thing I picked up, and I knew this was a reread, was Bonsai by Alejandro Zambria, and it's translated by Megan McDowell. And I wanted to read it because I really wanted to get to The Private Lives of Trees, also by him, also translated by Megan McDowell, because I think that this is going to be nominated for the Booker International as well. And this is such a short, sharp novel. I figured it was absolutely worth reading it again. It is about the story of Julio, and Emilia, 2 young Chilean students who find each other and share a friendship over their love of literature. This is such an astounding read. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it for the second time. It wouldn't surprise me if I read it for a third time. He is the type of author that you are totally surprised that he can put so much into such a small book. It's very impactful. But sadly, I did not get to The Private Lives of Trees in February, but I'm hoping to get to it soon. maybe for Booker. If not this year. I think that I will reschedule Fitzroy probably for November when all of the prize seasons are over. And speaking of prize seasons, my next couple books were solely around Canada Reads. There are 5 books that are always nominated. So I was able to listen to Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. And I listened to it on audiobook, which is a way better choice during renovations, and narrated by Tanis Parentu. It is an Indigenous Gothic book in which a young woman has fled her community over a tragedy, and she starts having bad nightmares in which she brings elements of those nightmares back into real life with her. And she goes back home in order to confront the nightmares and to confront the tragedy. I don't want to give the ending away, but reestablish her community and the people that she cut herself off with. And it was absolutely wonderful. I would highly recommend it. And it did well on Canada Reads as well. So that was all of my books for February. And as I was preparing to do this video, I was actually surprised that I read as much as I did, because I really, if you had asked me prior to that, I would have said that I reread 2 books in February. But renovations are going to be done soon, and I'm going to be listening to a lot of audiobooks in the future. So I did get to the last 2 books for Canada Reads. They are Denison Avenue, a graphic novel by Christina Wong and Daniel Innes, and Shut Up You're Pretty, a set of interconnected short stories by Tea Mutanji. But those were March reads, so I will have a video out for you about that when we do our March catch-up. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking your time and spending it with me. I will link videos in the description box below, and if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. So there will be an International Booker reaction shortlist coming to you on Monday, and then individual reviews of the Women's Prize books, which I have already started and fascinating, as well as the Booker International books as they come in and I'm able to get them. So I will leave you here, and I will leave you with some of my favorite things from the lake in eastern rural Ontario, Canada. Bye.